when they finally come to higher classes, two conditionings happen. One, they lose interest.
Yes.
They are interested only in, actually I challenge one thing. I say even if a person understands, he has not got science. Like we say, don't memorize. Okay, let's say I show a leaf and say it's a leaf. He has understood. I say this is dead and this is a leaf. He has understood. But it is not science.
It hasn't come from him.
Now, why it is not science? Suppose I show leaf, tree, a good teacher, very sincere teacher shows leaf, tree, human beings on a board or even real life. And he shows a non-living thing and said, okay, this is living, this is non-living. They copy down in the notebook, living, non-living. They show the earth, they show photographs, they show some other indirect evidence and they say this is inside the earth, crust, everything. All this even I went through in the school. But if you notice, there is one question hanging in the child's mind, even in our mind, while teaching also. Why are we teaching it? What is it that I get if that is life? The very important question for me, even when I was a child or even now is, so what? Okay, you are saying this is living, this is non-living, so what? You are saying earth is round. The earth is round is such a funny concept because none of us believe that earth is round. The teacher will be saying earth is round in the classroom, but he doesn't feel that the earth is round. None of us feel that the earth is really round. Because we, as you said, the key point which you said was, we have to arrive at the knowledge.
Children only should.
No, what I am saying is, if you give the knowledge, the end result of knowledge, I say that is not knowledge. Somebody concluded something. You are giving that conclusion with some kind of a abstract reasoning. I say that is superficial reasoning. It's not reasoning at all in a deeper sense. So here the interesting point is this knowledge also, it's not that the scientist one day Newton said, he sat down and he got Newton's 3 laws of motion and universal law of gravitation. You know, even for Newton, in fact, by the way, it's interesting, during that time they had to close down for something like a coronavirus thing that time and Newton was forced to go to his home. 6 months he thought, what was Newton thinking? How did he arrive at the universal law of gravitation? I'm giving a small information, the little that I know. What he was thinking was the observations Kepler had made. What did Kepler think the observation that Tycho Brahe had made? They were observations from Egyptians' time. People started observing. So the interesting point here is if the teacher has not gone through the process of arriving at the truth, as you said, then he has no other option, given his ignorance, but to teach not even like a textbook, but from a private textbook. See how interesting it is. Teachers can't teach because they have not arrived at even a small feeling because they didn't arrive at it. Textbooks are saying, textbooks have been written by scientists who have a feeling. So they have given, first you do this experiment, you ask the question. Why I like the textbook is, even if sincere you sit down with, meditatively read this textbook also, you will get a lot of what? I want to talk about that. Lot of what? You will get information. You will get a whole accumulated knowledge. You will burden your head with a lot of knowledge. No. One small door will open. It's like a spiritual experience really. So, because I can't convey it properly, I would like to tell you the story of Einstein. Einstein had a great, very interesting, one of the most beautiful quotations of Einstein is, for some people, nothing is a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Nothing is a miracle. For some people, nothing around us is a miracle. But for some people, everything is a miracle. Okay. When Einstein was young, this is very important for people who talk about dull student, bright student. When Einstein was young, he was so dull, people thought he was retarded. He used to sit like this, he used to not understand anything because he was really not understanding. He was looking out, he used to look out, there was a sense of wonder in him maybe. One day what happened, he had an older friend who was a good student, medical student. He had a good interest in his medical science and all that. He was very close to this older friend. So one day this older friend showed him a compass needle. Really, this is a true story. And he said, what is this compass needle? Einstein asked. He said, wherever you turn, it will turn in one direction only. Einstein said, why? How? Why? It was like as if he has seen a ghost or something. Yeah, why is it? Then he said, earth is a magnet. Just that sentence. Earth is a magnet. For Einstein, it was an earth-shattering experience inside. Earth is a magnet? And so no, earth is a magnet is an abstract statement. But what happened in Einstein is not an abstract statement. Are you getting me? Receptivity is like that. Somebody will be looking at a leaf And one moment you will wonder, what is that leaf? Some philosopher will be sitting, all discoveries have been made that way. Some philosopher will be sitting and he'll be wondering, what am I? I know of a saint-like person, Sarath Bapuji. For 2-3 years he was worried, what am I? What is my eye? What is my nose? What are these? What am I? He's burning with that question. Such were the discoveries, stepwise made, one after the other. For everything there was a process of discovery, which has been written briefly. You see, you can't tell the whole thing in the textbook, but they have given a certain pattern.
The windows are opened.
See, once you open a window, it's easy to open a window which has been opened, in a way, right? Like I can't sit down and discover the whole science now. It has been discovered. But as you said, if the rediscovery is not happening, it's difficult. Many people rediscover science in 21st century. They become scientists, not teachers. They know. They keep quiet. When all these people are teaching, they keep quiet. They know these people don't know anything. What can they do? They keep quiet. Because they know teachers have to go through the rediscovery process. No matter how many training programs they keep, if the teacher, at least he should start the textbook. Which is why we in Aravinda, we thought at least, let's take the textbook and let him do the process. Something might happen at some time to any teacher. Even for me, frankly, people will say that I'm a English physics teacher. I'm not a physics teacher. It can't be understood, this world, this biology, this physics, how we came. But one thing can be got. We can understand the rediscovery process. One chapter is enough. You take one chapter, really do all the activities, but for that, the teacher to some extent should have opened his eyes. And every day for him should be like a discovery process. He has gone to the class and he doesn't know anything. He knows he doesn't know anything. Again, freshly he sees the text. And here comes a child. Now, every child is an Einstein. Such a teacher, when he comes to a child, like that medical student had an effect on Einstein. Like that, a teacher should have an effect on the little Einsteins there. If he comes with a humbleness, I don't know anything, but how wonderful the world is. Like there's a cartoon I saw, beautiful cartoon, Snoopy cartoon. The father says, he's going for a walk with the child. The child says, Father, the sun is setting. Why is it so orange? Father says, I don't know. They go further. Stars are twinkling in the sky. Father, so many stars. Where did they come from? He says, son, I don't know. Like that, for my friend. At the end, he says, Father, do you mind me asking questions? He says, no. How will you learn? So, if at least the teacher should accept, I don't know. Really, if he starts claiming, I know, because he has to cover his lack of knowledge. These are not simple things. History is not simple unless you study. So these are our social problems. This is why the education system cannot change without a fundamental change in our philosophy. If we don't change, how can education system change? If I am the same and I am going to be a good physics teacher, how is it possible? I got full marks. They told me, I wrote it down. The problem is children are very sincere. Children are very sincere. They can be blindly sincere also. You see toppers, I pity them. Whatever the teacher says, they'll blindly obey and I feel sometimes the rebellious child is more, I look at the rebellious child, the backbenchers, the average guys, they have a greater spirit. I really feel. I pity some people tell me they want to get marks. I was not like that, so I don't know how they become. I was luckily not a topper. I was also a kind of backbencher when I was in school. But I used to read a lot. Have you noticed all the people who go out of the school are becoming successful? I'm telling you, these are secrets. Hundreds and thousands of people are there who know, but they keep quiet because they can't change the system. They say this is the system. We can't change anything. They come to some platform, they hardly speak. People who know don't speak. People who don't know speak big things. This is our politics of education. This whole textbook has been written with a great sincerity, I'm telling you. But to even know that the textbooks have been written sincerely, we have to be not sincere, man. Sincerity is a stupid thing. You are stupid and sincere is worse. Better to be rebellious. Better to accept that we don't know maybe. So, and one proof that everything is politics is, I'll tell you, none of these wonderful textbooks, including the introduction, are being followed in any of the private schools, maybe except Aravinda or a few such schools. None of these people are following because these are dangerous books. Even these books are dangerous and inconvenient. What they are doing is they're reversing it. Okay, like
Because 80% children have to do this.
so like class 10th, if you read this book, it's difficult to get marks. So private publications, what they do, they give you the answers. So they have converted this new education policy into the old educational policy through private publications.
Yes.
They're very famous, Oxford publications, Cambridge publications. What they do, they don't give any activity. They tell you what the answers are. They keep the exam in mind. Really, you should really study one private publication. I'll give you a small example, just to make my point clear. Like you have chapter 1 here, activity. In private publications, they'll give the conclusion. So the process of arriving at, the teacher has not arrived at anything, even from the textbook. Even as a teacher, as an adult, if you do the activities, one kind of opening up your mind will happen, can happen. Yes. If the teacher really sits down, I'll give an example. The example which is given is, you take a wooden block. Clearly has written in the text, with a lot of care. Take a wooden block, take a silver steel spoon, put it in the fridge for the same time. Okay. Take it out. Which is colder? Steel spoon is colder. Okay, from childhood we know. But here comes a wonder. Why? This is mind opening. Why? Same time, same heat we give. Why wood should be acquired less coldness and steel with the same amount of heat more coldness? Now this requires sensitivity from the teacher. The interesting thing is, if this sensitivity is grasped by the teacher and he tells the student, the teacher is like that medical student, the child becomes Einstein. Are you getting me? Don't underestimate your sensitivity. Even if you tell a child, all this is nothing, you ask questions, and if you're sincere about it, the child gets it. The backbenchers become toppers. The toppers start thinking. Are you getting me? If you try to act as if you know more than the child, which you don't know, or you know something which you don't know, especially in science, full mystery it is. Full mystery. Nobody knows science. Even I didn't know. Till 32, I didn't know. Even what I know today is very, very little. For that, I have to do a lot of study. It's very little. And once I came to know science, I came to know history, I came to know everything. The trigger can come from anywhere, right? If you really know history, what is history? We say history, history, history. Is history dates? If you really are, history should be seen like a story. If you understand Alexander came, why did he conquer? Even if you ask such a question, why Buddhism is not in India, if I ask just like that. See, nobody can know or has to know anything, but everybody should be sensitive. Are you getting me? Our pursuit should not be knowledge. Our pursuit should be to open the child's mind with anything, which is what we are trying here in Aravinda. At least when I talk to teachers here, and we talk in terms of feelings, again we come back to feelings. If there is no feeling, you have some feeling. Isn't it nice? Like wood and all, like anomalous expansion of water. You put water, fill it in the bottle. If you keep water and fill it with the whole liquid, if it becomes ice, it should become smaller, right? It doesn't become smaller, it becomes bigger. Only water in the whole universe. Are you getting? So I have some feeling here, okay, some feeling of wonder. Sky is blue. I really thought after 32, why did I not ever ask that question? Sky is really not blue. No, really, it's not blue. It looks blue. No, somebody comes and says there is some absorption from the atmosphere. I'm feeling science there. I'm not memorizing. Are you getting me? Some trigger should happen to your mind when you listen to science or any subject. And that is a process. If you go to if you really do, even if you blindly do, but with attention, with deep attention, you read the textbook. If you're interested. Again I say, science is an option. Again to say, if you don't become scientist, you will not get IIT rank. They have gone mad. Because they won't get rank. They won't get rank also. Because unless you open the secret, those people who understand science, we had Gautam in our school, remember? He got science somewhere in childhood. How he got, we don't know. But we encouraged it. We say, you read Gautam. The other day, Gautam called me and he finds all the subjects easy. He's planning other things. So it's not science there. It is something which you love. We all love something. What do we love? We love what we have seen, what we have perceived.
We are naming it science, but it's
we are only naming it science. We have, my friend Sukran loves something, Krishna sir loves something, you love something, I love. Tatkaru has a passion for the whole philosophy, mind. His whole concern is that. There's no space for anything else. Why should everybody know everything? This thing that everybody should know everything and everybody should know only science to become technologists, isn't it destructive? It's not only destructive, it is wrong destruction also, because that is not science. And none of them will be scientists anyway. If you don't know what is science, how can you be a scientist? You will be a technologist. They'll say you do this, and if I read a drawing and I build a building, every real estate person does that. Is it engineer? I read a drawing, I fill a bank account and the bank manager will sign it. Does he know banking? These are compartments. These are compartment jobs. This is not knowledge at all. This is nothing. Which is why we do routine jobs finally. Which is not wrong. Routine job is not wrong. But what is your life? What is your life? What do you want to, how do you want to live? You know, why I didn't work after 24 hours? I didn't know why I was to work. I was going to a site, sitting there. They're mixing sand, cement, and calculating profits. I was wondering, what is this life? For that's my, I used to sit and observe nature. I was simply enjoying. Sometimes just enjoying is everything. Sometimes I wonder whether we have to do anything. And I can tell you so many stories. Bernoulli, he was fascinated by water. Why was Bernoulli fascinated by water? Because that is what fascinated him. He sat and he sit and watch the water. What was he seeing in that water? Who knows? But he ended with Bernoulli's equation. He understood water. How maths is not maths. You can't see so much. Ramanujan used to give proofs. If you ask him how you got a proof, he said, I don't know. It's there. It's there. For Ramanujan, it was 2 plus 2 equals 4 laga. These people are breaking that. I don't say logic is not there. But the discovery process is not logical. It is perceptual.
That is individual.
It's very individual, ma'am. If you look within yourself, when you look, I would say every mother sees her daughter or son. That is perception. That is love. Every mother or father, look, they know their son. They see in a different way. Their love. Because of their love, again we come to love only. I'm not trying to be too philosophical. The problem is, if you don't be philosophical, you'll never understand science. Science cannot be separated from. Otherwise, why would such the greatest scientist, David Bohm, who challenged even today, his quantum mechanics is not read by anybody, because they can't understand it. He has challenged all these people who are confusing science, advanced science. Why did he come to Jiddu Krishnamurti to talk about philosophy? On that level, it's all philosophy. Even it's knowledge started from, everything is philosophy. PhD means Doctor of Philosophy. Everything started, they used to call natural philosophy, Whole world started with natural philosophy. Later these subjects came. And then what happened? These subjects became political. They became agencies for jobs. It is nothing like that. There's nothing like that. All this which I am saying is clearly written in the NCF document. But the problem is, NCF document has been written by a sensitive person. We are not sensitive enough to read the document. The trainers of teachers who are in the education department are not sensitive to read the document. That NCF person who wrote the document can't come and catch every teacher and teach him. Whereas, we are also having the same difficulty. Some teachers listen to us, some teachers don't. We have to leave all of them alone. We have to be very humble, simple. We are small human beings. Once we come back to our humility, what I learned in education, the more I realize I don't know. How, ocean they say, education will say this is an ocean, how can I contain it? It's really true. When you see a leaf, I'll give an example. When you see a caterpillar, you observe it. Don't say this is a caterpillar, this is a but it becomes. No, I'm really telling you, you just observe it and just really observe it. Like Bernoulli. I'm just telling, giving an example. You try that. Because life is infinite. One lifetime is not enough to understand caterpillar and enjoy it. So what is the ultimate moral lesson from all this so-called education? You have to enjoy the perception of your life. Something will come from within you. Some love which your love, she would love to be he is in love with child. He is in love with child. Bhaiya is in love with child. He can explain why he is in love with child. He is in love with child. Pythagoras is burning with this whole issue of why mankind is chained. When it's so simple to be free, he's burning. Your burning desire could be something about children, about education. My thing would be something like, why are we not opening our eyes? Maybe. So we all, as educationists should be like scientists. Educationists can't be. In fact, all scientists should stop their work and come and teach part time. They know, I'm telling you, I've met them. Artists should teach painting. Scientists should teach science. Who are these teachers? Nothing they know.
The
You
best
know?
should reach the child.
I mean, they should sacrifice for their love. I'm just telling. I don't know, it's up to them. I'm just telling. I tell my friends from BITS Pilani, Are you guys know so much. Come, teach the world. Now I feel at 50 they're feeling we didn't live our life. How will you live your life if you don't share your love, if you keep silent? You know? So that's what I'm feeling. There should be a radical. Without radicalism, what changes? They are talking about, they'll talk in the introduction, radicalism. In the book, which is not used by private schools. Private publishers come and change it to question answers in front of our eyes. Because they can't do anything else. I'm not blaming them. How can I blame them? The teachers don't know. That is more convenient. That is more efficient. Well, all these activities, one more activity, then notes, all these following instructions of government. Who wants to follow? Exam questions, answers. Easy, no? Easy for the teacher. Teacher will come every day, he'll sit for all these, training of programs of government. They don't understand anything. You know. The minister comes, he says something. People are only talking. Nobody is understanding anything. The people who do understand. That's why I love Kalam in a way. But when I'm observing Kalam's speeches, he is saying, become great, become great. Why didn't he talk about his love for science? I question Kalam also. Why he was trying to become some social leader? No, he might have, but no, he should have talked personally. I feel. So he should talk about what he loved, not try to make everybody better. Don't make everybody better. You share your love. Is my feeling. We all should share what we love, what we really love, what we really perceive. Let's say use the word no. Little bit. You should say it's a small part in the whole universe. With that humility, you should go. Especially I'm being so passionate now, like Montessori. If you read what was Montessori's madness? Child. She knows child is, for her, for Montessori, child was a power. And all her Montessori methods are only half methods. You read her book, she says infinite hundreds of times. She says God hundreds of times. She created one method, you create another method. But what they did with Montessori also, they converted into textbooks. Montessori method. Phonetic method, this method, that. No, it's not about method, it's about discovery of the child. Look at her word.
That is their own experience. That should come from their own.
From within her. Within 1-3 months, because she was observing, perceiving. If you can see, like a mother sees her child, she will know her emotion. If you see a leaf, as a biologist, Salim Ali, mad about birds. Salim Ali asked in a lecture, if I go for a 1 kilometer walk, how many types of birds will I see? They said 10, 20, he said 250, 300, infinite. He is mad, I am not mad, he is mad. You should understand. Then if you have to learn ornithology, you should learn from Salim Ali. If you have to learn the music, you have to learn from Ravi Shankar, about whom his guru said, it was as if he discovered a laughter and he has been laughing. That discovery process is possible. No, I don't know how the changes will come. I don't know.